How's it going, everybody? Welcome back to Tour Life. Today is Tuesday, November 4th, and we're going to be talking a little McBeast back in 2026 potential. We've got pro sponsorships vanishing in the upcoming year, and the JomezPro series finale was also announced. So a couple of nice little stories off the top, and then we have a special guest coming on tonight, Zachary Nash. Zachary Nash, maybe some of you guys are familiar with him, but we're going to bring him on. And we wanted to bring on, we have a lot of obviously tour winners come on the podcast, but we wanted to bring someone on that isn't necessarily winning or on lead cards week in and week out, and kind of ask the questions of like how tour life is. What made you decide to kind of go on the full tour? How's it looking? How sustainable is it? A lot of questions because, Yuli, this is a very top-heavy sport. And when you're not one of the big dogs, it can be tough out there. So before we jump into all that, how you guys doing?
Good. Pretty good. Pretty good, as they would say.
Yeah.
Where I'm from. Not much happening this week. Little practice here and there. A lot of time with the daughter. That's it, man. Life's boring. It's awesome.
It's nice when it's like that, right?
Yes.
It is very, very nice. Gary, how's it going?
Yeah, things are going well over here. Same thing, just trying to get out and enjoy the last few sunnier days and nice time we have of disc golf. The time change happened. Either of you guys into glow disc golf? You a glow disc golf guy at all?
No. I mean, I'll tell you what, man. One of the coolest glow disc golf courses in the world is Papago Disc Golf Course, and that's in Scottsdale. And it is a doubles league at night every Tuesday at 7. I don't know if they changed it. It's been probably a decade since I played it, but I remember it being one of my favorite times. You can see Scottsdale, so it's like on this little hill, and you can see all of Scottsdale lit up. And in the daytime, ugliest course you'll ever play in your life, just complete desert. But at night, has a creek running right through it. Can't tell that it's really not a creek. It's just like this little runoff. But at night, feels like a creek. And it's really cool. Anyways, thanks for bringing up that old memory.
There you go.
What is daylight savings? Why do we what is going on here? Does anyone know the reason?
The math doesn't add up, Brody.
Yeah. Why are we doing this? Does anyone have any idea?
I've heard a lot of interesting reasons for it, but none feel good enough to keep doing it.
No.
Like, what if we just all revolted and didn't do it?
You'd miss your tea time. Probably.
Farmers.
Farmers. I've heard for like kids going to school in the winter, it's lighter in the morning.
I've heard farmers and when they are supposed to like plant and stuff.
Yeah.
But the plants don't know time.
They actually probably know time better than us, I'm guessing. I'm guessing that.
I mean, it doesn't really affect me at all, but it's a weird because
I'm not in on it either, buddy.
Not everyone in the world does it though.
No.
Yeah, that's the fun part. Not even every state does it.
Oh,
that's the better part.
Wait, what states don't do it?
I think Arizona doesn't. Yep.
Oh. It's
Papago night golf, same time every year.
Wow, Arizona getting 2 shout outs right away.
Okay, that makes sense. It saved electricity back a long time ago. That makes sense. All right. Well, there you have it. It's really, really dark, really early on now. So
yeah,
not a good time for the disc golfers out there. Really tough to get around in when you're coming off of work at 5.
Lost my best disc today. I did that.
Oh,
it was just too dark.
No, threw it in a pond that I didn't know. So hole 7 at USDGC, with the little and you go through there. Behind there's a little pondy area way behind there.
Oh, yes, on the walk up to 17.
You notice it and you're just like, little scummy pond, like whatever.
You can't get a disc out of that.
Well, only that,
it's tough to get a disc. Someone lost a disc there when I was playing with them as well.
Yeah, you can't rake it, but I thought maybe you could walk in it. I walked in and quickly realized, well, I walked in, drop off immediately,
So you're like straight to your chest.
straight to my chest, stumble, neck. That quick. But here's the thing, I was walking up and I saw the place and I'm like, okay, I saw a disc like kind of little short. I grabbed that one and I'm like, I can see the bottom. I couldn't see the bottom. It was an optical illusion. I quickly found the bottom.
Yeah, I don't remember who lost a disc back there, but I remember someone did, and they were like, "It's gone forever," and I was like, "Oh, that sucks."
I was in there for 30 minutes looking for my disc because once you're in there, it's like, okay,
I lost a
it's
disc.
not coming out.
The two discs
My
that took
best
me that I never found, that I spent the most time searching for, was back at Worlds 2001. Is that the James Conrad 2001?
Yeah. Yeah.
2001 when we played the golf course. It was the really long. It was like the 515-foot par 3,
Mm-hmm.
and there was one of the lakes on the left-hand side, and me and Ezra must have walked up and down that thing for an hour and a half and never found it. And then the other one that I never found was in Crokinhole. Crokinhole, I think. It was, you remember the par 4 that AB in the skins match or Jomez, whatever it was, went for it, like through the huge turnover and like got to the basket somewhere. You know that little pond in the front of the whatchamacallit?
It's not really
green?
in play.
Yeah, I threw a shot. We never could find it. The spotter had no idea where it was, so we just all assumed it ended up being in the water because we couldn't find it.
Yeah.
After my round, I went there. The pond can't be more than 20 by 20 feet. It's not that big of a pond. Never found it. Never found it.
I'm going back for this one. I have my green Punisher that's like straight and flippy. My pink Punisher that's straight, like a 400-foot dead straight shot. And then I have another pink Punisher that's twin and it's stable. And I've never found a stable one. So I'll be back in there tomorrow.
Yeah, that's one thing that I think all disc golfers can what's the word? Commiserate, connect with is when you lose one of your favorite discs and you do whatever you can to try to get it back.
It's a tough thing,
Yeah, the hardest part is when you have to.
I pay $100. I pay $100 somebody go get it. Honestly.
Oh heck yeah.
For sure.
I've done that plenty of times.
Yeah. I put my best disc in the lake at Eureka this year, and I went to that lost and found every day, just hoping and hoping.
I never get my disc back.
Eureka, it's gone forever.
Hole
1. I mean, I threw one this year on hole 1, 100 feet in the water. Like it was
kayaks can't even.
Oh no, not even close. All right, hand up. I was wrong about the pies. I was wrong about the pies.
Yeah.
Longtime listener Johnny Riggs sent me a tweet. If you haven't checked it out, definitely go check it out. It's pretty funny. He goes through the whole journey of finding a pie shop just outside of Dallas, actually. I think he said it was like 10 minutes from AT&T Stadium. Goes in, orders a pie, has a little convo with the pie lady that owns the store. And I hand up. There are pie shops out there, and apparently they're pretty good.
Yeah, but in order to stay open, you better make some nice pies.
Yeah. Pretty good pies.
I'll look that up.
All right. Anything else going on this week? Mike, did Mike have anything cool going on? He's just still wearing his vesties, probably. Proof that disc golf will be bigger than football. There's pie shops. Yeah,
pie
there
shops.
You have it. Yeah. All right. Well, let's go and talk a little bit about our first story that we want to discuss. Off-season time. One of the big stories or one of the things that we talk about often in the off-season is player movement, where players going to end up, who's running out of their contract and where, they're getting extensions, they're going to sign somewhere else, or they're going to go open bag, which we saw a lot of top players this past season go open bag. This year, might be the biggest year we've seen as far as players' contracts ending. Usually it's a couple big names, 3, 5, maybe 7 big names. And then there's, 15, 20 people that are sprinkled in there. But for the most part, people resign, get extensions, and get the ball rolling. Is this correct? Are there 60 plus contracts right now that are ending at the end of this year?
Yes. And that's, I would say, mainly for 2 reasons. Typically, there's a decent number in like the 30s or 40s. But as more manufacturers are moving to 1-year extensions and 1-year contracts to eliminate risk or whatever it may be, this is going to happen more and more. Like, we're going to probably see this same number again next year. If that many players get extensions or get contracts, that's going to be the big question. And then you have a number of players who all are on their 2 or 3 or 4-year deals that are ending this year. So it's like the perfect storm of all the 1-year extensions and contracts and a bunch of big name players having their stuff come to an end.
5-year done this year.
Oh, you're 5 years done.
Yep.
Well, you're, being the team captain of Discraft, you obviously deal with a lot of players, contracts, recruiting new players to the team. Do you want to give a little insight on maybe some things that have changed over the last couple of years and what Discraft is looking at going into the year 2026?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's what everybody knows. I think that we all see that it's no longer COVID numbers. And so contracts aren't getting bigger. They're definitely not getting bigger. I think we saw the last, $1 million contract with Simon that we're going to see for a long time, honestly. So those numbers are definitely coming down. Plus the talent pool is, I would say, we kind of know who the people are. So the line has kind of been set. Once you accept that contract, like a Gannon Burr, for example, who's a crazy talent, but he accepted a contract with whatever it was. The line's drawn. And so with that being said, too, like he said, 60 people trying to re-up their contracts, knowing those numbers, it's going to be a dog-eat-dog world out there. And I know this from knowing what House of Dis has kind of been doing the last few years. Innova taking a step back with contracts, and the 2 big dogs, Discraft, and I'll call them big dogs because they're the only ones throwing money out there the last few years, Discraft and MVP. Yeah. And then you have the open bags, which they're doing pretty good with picking up players here and there. But even through the rumor phone, if that's what we want to call it, for lack of a better word, even those people are kind of taking a step back. So it's going to be a tough offseason for a lot of people, I think. I think this is, like we had that conversation last week about social media and making sure that your name's out there and different things like that. And that's just the world that we live in. If you're not doing every single thing to get an edge on the next guy, you're going to have your contract swooped up by somebody else. And that's just the way that it goes. Unfortunately, that's the game that we play right now. But yeah, I think we're going to see a decrease in big time contracts.
Yeah, I think with the disc golf quality getting stronger and better, that actually is hurting the field because the pie isn't getting any larger.
Yeah.
The pie is kind of staying about the same. So they just have to decrease people's slices to add in and be able to give new slices out to others. And some people that have a little bit of a slice, they might say, you don't have a slice anymore. We're giving your slice to someone else. And that's just where the game currently is. And I know we compare disc golf to a lot of other professional sports out there. It's not there. From the professional level, it is not there. You cannot sustain multiple player contracts out on tour. It just doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, I think you're 100% right as far as that. But if you look at like the numbers in baseball, football, all those things, they're still the top 10 guys that make a significant amount more money than the rest of the world.
100%.
Yeah.
And that's the same thing in disc golf as well. Like, obviously our numbers are smaller, but those guys are getting the big chunk of the money, which they deserve because they're the best players in the world. It's just a way smaller number in front of those contracts. And then I will say this as well. It would have been smart, okay, years and years ago to learn the pulse of what disc golf is. And I think that's something that a lot of pros didn't do. I think that they looked at disc golf as everybody's getting all this money and blah, 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 blah down the line. And I'm going to focus on this, this, and this. And if you took a step back and you saw the numbers every single year, if they had an opportunity to get with a solid company for less, and been like, hey, I'm going to show you guys loyalty. Can you guys show me loyalty long ways down the line? I think that would be a bit of a smart move. And that's something that I told a lot of people on our team is like, hey, this place is the best place to be. And don't come in here asking for the world because it's not going to happen. You know what I mean? Show loyalty. And then when the time comes, you're going to be grateful you did.
Gary, any other things? I know you had maybe some rumors about House of Disc.
Yeah, there's a lot of really interesting dynamics at play. No pun intended. I know there's a lot of conversation about House of Disc right now with their money situation as to whether or not any of their brands are going to continue to sign new contracts. And now there have been a couple players who have signed an extension already, proving that it's not nobody, of course. And some of those people, I think they're going to have to, but there's like questions of, what's going to happen to Discmania, because Discmania is kind of like the odd man out under the House of Disc brands in terms of like the success of the players within those brands. So it's going to be really interesting to see what happens with them. There's a rumor going around that Discraft is losing an elite team member. You get to the point where, is that a rumor that someone starts because it creates a narrative? But I think there's a lot of interesting things to talk about when you look at Discraft and what they did this past season by expanding their team. I mean, we referred to them as Thanos collecting the Infinity Stones with getting these players. One noticeable opening is European players. So there are some European players that are going to be, their contracts are up on other teams. And with some announcements I think Discraft made about getting more involved with Europe, it'd be interesting to see if they go and chase down some of these European contracts from some other teams.
So I'm gonna stop that narrative right now. Here's the thing with Discraft. Every single year, so people, I've been seeing this go around the internet of, hey, they're dropping an elite team. We do that every single year.
Yep.
It's a competition inside the team and outside the team. We have a set number of elite team members, and it's a numbers game. Okay. For the most part. Now there's like an AB, for example. AB got on the elite team, signed him. Ezra Robinson, for example, straight to the elite team. There are certain circumstances where that happens, but we drop and promote to the elite team always. So we're always going to have a set number of elite team members. So somebody might be demoted, somebody might be gone, but we're going to have a set number of elite team members on our team.
Yeah.
You could theoretically have a contract that's like 4 years, and inside that contract at some point you drop out of the elite team based off of performance.
Yeah. And I'd say that's one of the biggest questions going into the offseason is when you see a company like Discraft, obtain so many players, the question mark will be, are they going to hold for a while now? Are they going to try to continue to acquire? Because clearly, when you look at the wins that players had across the board, the number of times where the lead card was 3 or 4 Discraft players, you have to feel like that paid dividends in some degree. So are they going to continue to collect more players and really, really showcase that they're the dominant players in the space, or are they going to hold for a while? So that's one of the big questions. Another one is Innova. Innova literally has, except for Calvin, their entire team is up.
Mhm.
So how many players, and they've historically held on to a lot of, I would say, senior members. And when I say senior, I don't mean like old, but like people who have been icons in disc golf for a while. Last year was the first time we saw a bit of a shocker because Big Germ left Innova, which I think it shocked a lot of people. So like Innova has shown us over time that they don't need people on their team who win to make money because they have an established, stranglehold in the market when it comes to retail sales and other things. So they've played a different game than a lot of manufacturers have, I feel like, over the past several years. So, I think they're going to keep signing everyone to 1-year extensions, but like how many of these players are going to return? Are they even going to go out and search for another big name? That's the second
I don't
question.
think they're going to have to search. I think with 60 contracts being up, I think people are going to be going to every single manufacturer, seeing what's good out there, and then and maybe if we really look at it from that perspective, maybe Innova, like I said, has the pulse of what disc golf is. They have the numbers, they have the things, and they're like, hey, if we wait a couple of years, we'll get that player for
cheap.
10 cents on the dollar, which is 100% kind of what the market is saying right now.
The only other big questions are things like, will Latitude 64 create some kind of contract or extension for Kristen? Not technically playing according to what she's going to say, but do they keep her on as something? It seems like they're going to. That would be the smart move, I would think, if you're Latitude 64, is to create some kind of program where, because both her and her husband Silver, their contracts are up this year. So that kind of stuff. But you have to think that a lot of these players, you see some solid players on this list, like DGA's team, Sullivan Tipton, Cole Rodolin, Andrew Marweed. They're all available. Now they've been, with DGA for a bit, but you have to think if you're one of those players and a team like Discraft comes knocking or Innova comes knocking, you have to wonder what's going to happen. But with so many people up, it's going to make for a very interesting offseason to see who goes where. And the question will be, how many players on these of the 60 plus are actually going to be under contract next year? That'll be the thing I'm the most curious about.
Yeah, and I think there's a really good time too for companies to try to make a move. Whether that is try to sign a big name and put a lot of money behind promoting them and getting them out there. It could also be a time to try to innovate the sponsorship world and not do what disc golf has done year after year after year, and everyone just copies everyone, and that's just what disc golf sponsorships look like. Go outside the box, try something different, and see how that looks. Maybe that's the price structure, maybe that is social media, maybe that is fan experience. There's all sorts of things that can be experimented with, and I think this upcoming year is going to be a big one because it's one of those spots of where if you're already locked in with the company, kind of like what Yuli was saying, you're great. But if you weren't, and you were someone that you went to this sponsorship to get $5,000, and then the next year you went here to get 10,000, and the next year you went here for 12,000. None of those people might be offering any of that now.
Yeah, I also think it's a funny space that we live in disc golf. I think that when people think about what disc golfers make, they automatically think of the manufacturers and the sponsorships and blah 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 down the line. Now that is a outside source sponsorship. What you make is on the PGA Tour. That's what you have control over making. And so when we look at like the PGA Tour, those guys, there's not a lot of people who are getting money from Nike and Callaway and Titleist and things like that. They're making their sole money off of earnings. We don't do that. So that's not a great comparison. Now, if you think about basketball, football, and down those lines, those are billion-dollar teams. So jersey sales matter a little bit, but success of the team matters. To where if you're going to the playoffs and people are seeing you, and now all of a sudden you have your community, like all of California, all invested on the Rams going to the Super Bowl, they're making a lot of money. Therefore, they can bring in big contracts with these players. We're not like that. We're not like that in any way. And our numbers are based off of what you sell individually for the company. So I think people get that twisted and are like, well, this guy, well, if Simon's worth this, then this guy's worth this. No, that's not how it works as far as a success train across the board of sales. Like, I'm sorry, but Gannon isn't selling as much as Simon Lazard is. It's just not happening. And it doesn't matter what team he goes on. That's just not a real world that we live in. And Simon's not selling as much as Paul McBeast. That's not a real place either. And so when we think about these contracts, I want people to remember, like, it is a completely different world and a tricky one inside disc golf, because the contracts aren't based off of what other sports do or how they make money. I don't know what would be the best word. It's just a way different way of doing things.
Yeah. And 100%. I'm gonna see, is there a way to look up the money list? Does someone have that?
There's an active list of contracts over
not contract.
No, just PDGA.
Yeah, just what you make off of tournaments.
Oh yes, there is.
Where do you go for that?
So over on Statmando, you can go and look at like the MPO tour card holders stats. And it'll show you event money made for the year.
Where is that? Stat Zone?
Yeah, go to Stat Zone, and then you're gonna want to look for,
just to sponsor somebody to go on tour is $6,000 if you're doing a full tour.
Yeah,
like $6,000
for the DGPT MPO tour card holder stats.
Right, and that's not including if you're playing A tiers and different things. That number can go up to about $8,000 a year to play tournaments.
Tour card qualification. Oh, tour card holder stats. All right, I'm on it.
Yep. If you scroll over to the right,
oh yeah, here you go. Money
total column.
That's over $500 a month.
Okay, so this is the money that was brought in from all the tournaments they played for tour card holders. Now,
only tour tournaments. So this doesn't count like if they win an A tier on the weekend or anything like that.
Now, another thing to address, and this is, I can't wait to have Zachary on too, because hopefully he'll kind of be able to tell us some of his numbers too, of what that looks like on his side. Now, some of these players, they get their travel, tournament fees, those type of things covered. And then on top of that, they're probably using sponsorship money to pay for food, gas, some things that might not be directly covered by that. However, you don't have to go that far down this list. And wait, what? Hold on. Oh, total. That's what I want. I was at winner, money as winner. You don't have to go far down this list to all of a sudden run in to some guys that probably don't have the craziest sponsorships or stuff covered. So obviously the top guys, Gannon Burr brought in over 100,000. Calvin was just under 100 at 88. Isaac, Paul, AB, those guys were all around 60 in the 60s. These guys are all fine because they have big sponsorships as well, right? So a lot of this money they're bringing in is going straight to the bank. Now, obviously, again, taxes, you have to pay taxes all on this. So that's 25, 30%, whatever tax bracket you're in right there. See you later. But now we start heading down. You don't have to go that far. Like, I'm only down into like maybe the 12th or 13th highest, and I hit Sullivan Tipton. Sullivan Tipton made $30,519. I don't think Sullivan Tipton has a sponsorship that they're covering his hotels or his gas or his travel or his food or any of that stuff. So you look at that and it's like, okay, let's say he has a $30,000 sponsorship from DGA or whatever. So now that's 60,000 minus taxes, minus expenses. We're looking at what, 45,000? And that's a top 20. That's one of the top 20 guys money list.
Yeah.
He played 18 events. You know, he podiumed once and had 6 top 10s. So like that's, you know, and then we're going down like Andrew Marweed, 26,000. Evan Smith, 24,000. I mean, these might be his breaking even, right? Like they're just able to go out and do this and it's fun and they enjoy it. But these people aren't putting money in a 401k. These people aren't putting money into retirement. Like these people aren't putting money towards a house down payment. So I think you're right, Yuli. I think there's this kind of delusion sometimes of disc golfers are making crazy amounts of money and everyone's doing well. No, it's like less than like 15 people.
Yeah, it's really low. And that's another thing where because I talk to these players and it's a tough conversation because I ask, I have the numbers right in front of me for like the own team of how much you sold and how much like your ROI is on the company. And if you're not breaking, you need to be making more money than you are getting in order for it to be a smart investment for a company. And it should be pretty dang high. Yeah. And so if that's not the case, that's a tough sell for any sort of company. Luckily, we lived, and I think it's changing, in a place where it's like, hey, your family. Like this is a family run thing. Like we're going to take care of you. You scratch my back, I'll scratch yours. Like it's all good and blah, 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 blah. But that narrative's got to change because numbers are going down. Competition is rising. And that's just sports. Next guy up type thing.
Yeah.
But you have to focus. If I were to give advice for players going in the off season and contracts, how contracts go, I would think, what am I really good at selling? Because that's what it comes down to. What am I really good at that? And I need to get better at that thing. Along with my play, I need to get better at selling to the market that enjoys watching me play disc golf.
And it goes back to the pie thing. The tough thing is if you start getting better at selling, that you're not necessarily, someone's not all of a sudden, okay, instead of spending $1,000 on disc golf, I'm now going to spend $2,000 on disc golf because this person all of a sudden got better. It's the $1,000 that I was spending is now some of it's going to this person. And so that's taking money from someone else.
Yep.
And that kind of does the trickle down effect of where it doesn't, this money is just all circulating from the same people. And that's something that we've talked about a lot in disc golf is money's coming out of my pocket, going into your pocket, which is coming out of your pocket, going into this person, and then it's coming back to me. We don't really have a lot of outside money coming into the sport, which makes it very, very tough. And the last person I'll say is the person that's retiring, specifically because he just can't do tour anymore. And that's a tour winner. He won on tour. Benjamin Callaway.
Yeah, best season.
Made just under $17,000. He took a trip over to Europe. That's probably a couple grand.
Yeah.
You know, and so like taxes and
grand.
everything, it's like he won on tour, probably the best season he ever had. And he probably take home $10,000 from earnings. Now, let's say you had a massive contract with Discraft. Let's say it's $40,000 or something from Discraft, which is a lot of money. That's now $50K. Well, take out taxes of that. You're now at 40,000 take home. You're not doing much with 40,000 take home.
No,
with all the bills and stuff that you have to pay.
No, and you're right about the pie. Like you have to figure out how to take it from somebody else, and it's a sad thing, but it's also competition in the media world. It's also competition with the content world because you're trying to grab those people and make them fans of you in order to buy your disc. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And this is why disc golf right now, disc golf will remain a very young sport. It's going to start trending that way.
Oh yeah.
Because I mean, Gap brings up a perfect point. He says, "What about long term? What about long term after disc golf, retirement, etc.? Going to be bagging groceries at 60? At a certain point in time, Yuli, the dream is gone
for sure.
Right? As once you start getting to like, I don't know, 30, 31, 32, and you start looking at your bank accounts and say, I've got like nothing to show for myself. Like you got to start figuring it out. You got to start doing something different.
I'm 37, been in the game a long time, and the only reason I'm in the game right now, it's not because of my play. We all know that. It's because I dabble in every single thing that there can possibly be to dabble in. And I think that's why I'm a good team captain, because then I can go to my players and tell them, hey, man, you're not outperforming me in any other category that there is. Like none of it. Like I'm going to beat you at all of the other stuff, all of the marketing, all of those things, because as a 37-year-old, those are the skills that I got to learn in order to feed my family. I got a 1-year-old.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I have to grind in order to make that work.
Even down to the nuance of like when you have the same multiple people who have like the same signature series disc, you even get the cannibalization into that too. It's such a hard thing to, and you have players who I think aren't at that like upper echelon level where they're winning money every weekend, like big money every weekend. They almost have to support themselves by committee, like so many little things, which means they can't really ever commit to one or more things perfectly. And it makes you wonder how many more players we're going to continue to get on tour when they see this kind of stuff happen. Because there are a lot of comments, even from touring pros, that this season we're going to see a pullback, a tightening of the purses.
I think you're going to see a lot more younger players on tour, and I think you're going to see a lot more players decide to do regional tours.
Yeah,
you know, they're going to do a couple, 4 or 5 events that they can drive to. But like the idea of like, hey, I'm going to fly out to Portland or OTB for the OTB Open and drop $1,000 to hopefully make 1,500, maybe, if I play incredible. That's gonna be really, really tough. And that's just really where disc golf is headed right now. Unfortunately, the pro side, it's headed more towards like an Olympic athlete, someone that you're going to have a side job. You're going to have, like Yuli said, like he's had all these side jobs. Luckily for him, they're all in disc golf, but you're going to have to probably do something else. And then you bounce on tour for a couple of events, and then you bounce back to what you were doing previously.
Oh, for sure. And if you're 25 to 30 years old right now, like you have to take a step back and look at where the market is and really dig in into your little bunker. You know, you really got to dig in and plant some roots, because like you said, after you're 35 years old, if you haven't
earlier, I think it might be 30.
Yeah, after you're 30 years old, there's not going to be a lot of like kids are just getting better and better and better. So you better have something to fall back on.
Yeah.
And that's another thing that I try to tell players is like, this is why these things are so important. Like the glory days don't last forever. Like they don't last forever. So you have to find these other things to do. And I got the best thing that ever happened to me, guys, was when I tore my ACL. The best thing that ever happened to me in this game is when I tore my ACL, because I was sitting on the couch getting $1,200 a month, which was the best anybody was really getting paid at the time. And that doesn't pay the bills. It doesn't pay the bills. And I remember thinking like, okay, I'm going to go coach golf, because this is like, I'm a top, at the time I was ranked 5th in the world. I'm like, this isn't $1,200 a month. This is nothing. I'm a nobody. And then because I love disc golf so much, I told myself that I was going to come up with a 5-year plan and really dig in and do all the extra stuff. And so I'm telling this to people because it is a scary time coming into this off season for a lot of people. But there is light at the end of the tunnel if you put in a lot of work. If you put in a lot of work, you don't, like, I haven't won in a decade, but I do pretty good for myself.
But there can be only so many of you, Yuli. That's the thing.
Oh, for sure. No, and nobody's taking my spot, Brody. That's the thing. You know what I mean? Like nobody's coming from my spot.
I know, but if everyone was like, I'm gonna grind like Yuli,
there's no other way though. And that's the thing.
I know, but what I'm trying to say is, if 50 people all was like, I'm gonna have Yuli's mindset and go out there, not all 50 people are going to be successful.
That's the way the world works, though.
No, I know, but I'm just letting
the only
people,
way to do it is to have that mindset.
I know. I'm just letting people know that the number out there is very, very, and even like social media, it's like that. Back when I first started social media, if you just put in any sort of effort and you're like, you know what, I'm going to make YouTube videos, I'm going to post on Vine or whatever, and you had good content and you put effort in, you could be successful. Now that is not that. Something has to happen. You have to get lucky, or you have to be one of the top people in your niche, because everyone's doing it now. Everyone's trying it now, and not everyone is going to be able to have everyone's eyeballs.
No, and I think there's a big market to be had on YouTube for disc golf eventually, especially with the market the way that it is. I think that it could be a place where a lot of these players can't afford to be on there, but they can do what you're saying, Brody, and play regionally, and people will want to watch that journey, and the more content you can put out there. You never know when the world's just going to fall in love with somebody. You know what I mean?
Patrick Fickey says, how does this affect young people who are watching now that want to commit to disc golf, losing future potential GOATs? So what I say about this is, someone told me this a really, really long time ago when I was getting pretty decent at tennis, and I just was not ready to take the next step, obviously, because of how I responded to what this person said. They basically told me, your chance of becoming a professional tennis player is like, and I don't know if they just made up a number, but they basically said like 0.001%, right? They basically gave me a number of like the chances of you going for, even how good you are right now, the chances of you going on and being a professional tennis player is so small. I didn't really handle that well. As soon as I kind of got some a little bit of a pushback and I wasn't winning every tournament I played in, I kind of like shifted to a different sport. And that wasn't probably the right way of handling it, but there are people out there that hear that and they go, that's fine, I'll be one of those people, right? And so that's what I'll say. Like, I think you have to give the information out to people. I think you have to let people know there are such a small percentage of people that can go out and play disc golf and make a living doing it. There's even a smaller percentage of people that can go out, play disc golf, and be able to put enough money away to where they're not going to have to work and bag groceries or be a welcome person at Walmart, right? And I don't think that's going to push away people. I think that's just information out there. And if it does push away people, those people didn't want it hard enough. I mean, that's really what it is at the end of the day. Yep. And we also don't know exactly where disc golf could go. I've always said there's potential that we might see something happen on the European side, because over there it's a lot bigger in the sense of like to all the other sports than it is here. There's less competition, right? And so there could be a big spike of where all of a sudden purses over in Europe, every purse over there is $50K.
Yeah, I think another thing, I think that I think sometimes people look down on athletes who do have that, who are working in the off season and doing groceries or doing Uber or doing whatever.
That's what you gotta do.
And I think that that's so silly, because in every single sport we have, in every sport, every single year, you'll have an athlete who's like, yeah, I was bagging groceries like last month and now I'm on the team and I just scored a touchdown, or I just scored 30 in the NBA. Like, that's real things that happen. You do what you need to do to provide for yourself and your family while you chase your dreams.
Yep.
And see where that gets you. So I that is one thing that I don't like, that perception. And I think a lot of people have pride too, to where they're like, I don't have to do that. Like, it's like, find the time to make your cash so that you can go out there and prove yourself.
Yeah, I think the hard work, Yuli, is, and this might be like, Brody, you're getting old and this is why you're complaining, but it does seem now with social media going the way it's going, a lot of people are just like, I want to be a YouTuber. I want to be I want to be an influencer. And I don't know. I when I needed money when I was young, that wasn't really an option. And maybe if it was an option, maybe that's the route I would have gone. but I was, there was no job I was too pro. I mean, I washed dishes, I cut grass at golf courses, I was a camp counselor. Like I did whatever I could to make money. And I don't know if that's the world we're headed, Yuli, where people are like shying away from the tough work, the tough jobs.
It's crazy because
hard
I'm
work.
not afraid to do that now, and I make some nice coin.
Yeah,
And you
I don't
might
know.
see me doing some odd jobs here and there. You know what I mean? I don't know. It for sure is something that people should shy away from, that type of mindset.
Perception is tough though. Perception is tough of where, if we're seeing Ricky after a tournament trying to sell discs out the back of his car,
he don't care.
No, I know he doesn't care, but I'm saying other people will look at that and view Ricky in a different way.
For sure.
I don't know if that's necessarily fair, but that is something that has an impact, I think, right?
Yeah.
Gary, you were going to say something?
No, I was going to say, speaking of grinders, we got a grinder waiting to jump in here with us.
Oh, let's bring him in.
Yeah.
Joining the podcast for the first time, Zachary Nash. Zach, how's it going, brother?
It's going pretty good.
Fully off-season mode, I'm assuming?
Yeah, for sure.
How is that?
Pretty good right now. Did some 3 A-tiers in a row since USCGC. Went second, third, first.
Tell us about this first. I have to know.
So this first one I played last second. I just drove up to Nevada. I took me and my wife up there. Nevada, Missouri, not Nevada. It's pronounced differently, apparently. I found that out. But a fun little course. I was talking to Joel. He told me it's 3 ball golf courses. I feel like I throw decently far, so, I felt like sign me up. And then I got up there, and they were all super short courses, like super short par 4s and par 3s. And I basically just got my butt handed to me the first 2 rounds because just people are getting really good over there right now. And then we got into the 3rd round. It was super windy, and it was kind of cold. And that's kind of the first tournament I feel like most people played this year where it's kind of cold like that. And I just started birdieing early. And I looked back, and I was on chase card, and I saw lead card miss a few putts. And after that, I just kind of knew how to birdie out. I've been in a position like that before where I'm pretty good that if I catch rhythm, I can just keep it going. And I just kept it going that day. And then I had my wife with me. She was caddying Lila. Shout out her. She was kind of keeping me up to date on the scores, so I didn't have to look at it myself. And she just told me on hole 9 I was 2 back. So I gained 5 strokes. 6 strokes. Because I started the round 8 back of Joel Freeman. And I gained 6 strokes on him. He had a tough start, had some tough bogeys. And then the very next hole, he bogeyed, and I birdied, so we were tied. And then after that, it was just kind of off to the races. And we ended.
So, yeah, was that the biggest comeback you've ever had?
No. It was tied. At GBO, I was looking at this earlier. At GBO, I was at the exact same score through 2 rounds, and I shot 12 down my 3rd round and ended up winning that one as well from the 3rd card from 9th place. So it was the same as this. Same exact score, same exact situation as this tournament. It was pretty cool.
Jeez. How do you decide what tournaments to play off tour? How much of it is added cash? How much is it what the field looks like? How much is it how far away out of the way you have to drive and travel?
Yeah, Nevada was 8 hours. So I feel like 8 hours is like right at my limit, because there was one I was looking at going to in Mississippi this weekend that's 12 hours. But at that point, even if I win, I'm pretty much spending all my money in gas and food and travel, so it's not really worth it. But I've been really close this year for A-tiers in the last couple of weeks. Like the first week I played one down in Texas that Meridian put on, and I was winning by 7 strokes going into the last round and couldn't follow through. GT caught me. He shot a 14 under course record. And then the next week I got 3rd and only lost by a couple strokes. So I just was playing really good, and then it had some extra cash in it. So if it's an A-tier, I pretty much.
Do you get bonuses on those A-tiers?
No bonuses.
So to you, it's strictly just like a money thing of how much money is it going to cost me to go to this event, and then how much money is it potential for me to win, and if that number is big enough, then it's like, all right, I'm headed there.
Yeah, for sure. It's definitely a money thing. I mean, $1,500 for a tournament like that I feel like I'm gonna win. It just feels like, why wouldn't I go do that?
Yeah,
B
no
tiers
brainer.
and ratings. Like ratings are usually pretty good at A tiers. I'm chasing down that as well.
Gotcha.
Walk me through now kind of your history with the Disc Golf Pro Tour. When did you kind of first dip your toes into playing in pro events? And then, when did you decide, okay, it's time to do the full tour, go to every event and see where I stack up?
My first pro tour event was in 2022. I played the Silver Series at the Belton Open. I don't know if y'all remember that course.
Yeah, I love that course.
Yeah. So I played there. I was a senior in high school, and then I was trying to go to Junior Worlds, win that, and then maybe get on tour. I ended up not getting into Junior Worlds that year, but I had found out about NADGT that Dave Feldberg runs later on. So I last minute signed up for that tour, ended up winning that championship and got my tour card for 2023. So I pretty much graduated and just went full swing after that.
Nice. How has that been? We kind of, before you got on, I don't know if you were listening at all, we were kind of talking about just some of the financial difficulties of touring and all that comes within, how some people are having to do things outside of just playing events. If you're open to sharing, how is that going for you, since you are kind of really early on in your touring career?
How's the like the financial side of it, like grinding outside of disc golf?
Or just like the tour itself, like how is that going for you?
I feel like it's going pretty good. It's kind of hard to jump into a professional sport at the highest level and expect to just excel to the very top right away. I think there are very few players who can do that, Gannon Burr being one of them. I actually talked to Parker Welk a little bit this year, and he said that he thought a healthy number was 5 years. He thought after 5 years, if you're still really struggling to improve and get really good, then maybe that's your time to look back at it and decide if it's for you. So I've kind of taken that approach. This was my third year. My first year, I finished in 120th for the standings, which was pretty brutal to the pride, ego, and everything.
Yep.
Next year, though, I doubled it to 67th. And then this year, I finished in 38th. So every year, I'm trending upwards, and I'm still getting better. So my plan is to stay on, obviously, if that's possible, if I can make it work. But luckily for me, I'm seeing improvement. I feel like I haven't stalled out.
Yeah, looking at your events this year, 6 of your top 8 finishes ever came this season. So whatever you're working on is working for you. Like, what's the thing now that you're in the off season that you're trying to change going into next year to keep that trajectory of moving up the leaderboard, and next year hopefully making it into the Pro Tour Championship?
Yeah, I think fitness for me is a big part of it. I think staying fit to keep my mind clear is huge. And also, if you're not out of breath after walking up some of these tall hills on the Pro Tour courses, to go make your 30-footer if you're out, helps a lot too. But mostly, I have a pretty strict routine. Like, I know me and Paul, we've talked about this before a little bit, that routines and goals help a lot. And that's kind of the path I've taken. So every day I have a set routine of how many throws I want, how many putts I want, how many I want to make, and then like my fitness goals for the day. So I can kind of keep track of where I was and where I'm going with it.
How difficult is that to maintain your fitness while you're traveling so much? That's something that I'm very much a routine person as well. And I feel like when I'm going to different cities and I don't know what gyms are available, or my timing is all messed up, it really makes it harder for me to knock off the things on the list. So how have you been successful doing that?
Successful, I think, is a big word. It's pretty hard. I just have a Planet Fitness membership, so I try to just every night. I have a workout schedule. I have a buddy that made me one that is big into fitness, so he helped me out a lot with that. And it's something that I can do throughout the year that's not overbearing. I think it's really hard for me anyway, to lift heavy throughout the season. I think it's kind of unrealistic to lift heavy. So I try to lift heavy in the off season, gain my muscle, gain my strength, whatever, and then just maintain it through the actual season. And then that's not quite as hard. It's not quite as much to do, but it is kind of quite a task to have to find a gym. But
yeah.
I also travel out of a van, so I kind of go to Planet Fitness to shower and do everything else too. So works out.
What does the sponsorship game look like for you? We were just talking about how important that is for so many players to kind of have that safety net, to have a sponsorship that, you know, maybe has a monthly stipend. So certain tournaments don't go your way. You're not strapped for cash or having to look for other things to kind of get you through to the next tournament. Where do you feel like you are currently at? And we were just talking how 60 players contracts are coming up at the end of the year. And so there's going to be probably a lot of turnover, maybe some people going elsewhere. Like what's that all look like for you?
That's a good question. I'm still figuring it out. I think I kind of came in at a weird spot because I came in 2023 kind of at the end of the COVID boom where there was still some money. And then obviously last year wasn't the best season for it. And 2024 was kind of in the middle there somewhere. But 2 of the 3 years I've been on tour, I've been unsupported. So financially, it's kind of just a grind. I do a lot of clinics and stuff like that. And I do online coaching and stuff in that category. And then like I think y'all were talking about it a little bit earlier as far as jobs in the off season. I've done that as well. So it's hard. Tour cards are very expensive, and it's usually in a lump sum. And it's kind of crazy to have to pay a lump sum of $6,000, maybe more if you're doing all the European stuff, in one sitting if the bank was already tight.
Yeah, I actually didn't even think about that. That's definitely something I think the Pro Tour can look into, maybe have like a payment plan or something like that for some people, because that is asking a lot to just drop $6,000 before you even go to any tournaments. Do you want to talk a little bit about your sponsor that you had this year and how that's kind of changed your touring?
Yeah, my sponsor this year was Meridian Discs and Legit Disc Golf. Meridian Discs is a manufacturing company out of Texas. They started in, I believe, 2024. So they turned a year old this past summer. And it's an open bag sponsorship. So essentially, they are able to supply me with a bunch of discs. So that way I can go do clinics and sell afterwards. And then also it was big because they supplied me with enough I can set up and vend after tournaments and make some money that way, which was huge. But the way my sponsorship is pretty much set up with them is I can still go out to other companies and try to find sponsorships through smaller companies as well, or maybe, you know, any other open bag manufacturer, maybe Infinite, something like that. But there's not a lot going on there. There just wasn't a lot of options. I mean, I think when it comes to all that, a lot of companies aren't even getting back to players. Like I've reached out to a lot of companies last year. I didn't hear back from any of them. Meridian was one of the only that got back to me.
Interesting. Well, what are your thoughts on, you know, I've kind of mixed feelings towards the social media aspect. You know, in a perfect world, I think people should be able to just focus on disc golf, get really good at disc golf, and that should be it, right? They're playing disc golf, they're a professional disc golfer. But Yuli is right in saying that the landscape has changed. You know, you finished 38th in the Disc Golf Pro Tour rankings. There might be companies out there looking at someone that finished 50th, but has a YouTube channel and has a bunch of Instagram followers. What are your thoughts kind of on that landscape? And is that something that you're interested in trying to put more effort into upcoming?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, that's kind of one of the hard truths about the tour and just how business works. Unfortunately, when you're at 38th, like me, I got some coverage time here or there. I was on Chase Card a few times. feature card once, but that doesn't necessarily translate into dollar bills for companies. And that's kind of a hard truth you have to face. But social media does a lot of times. It's a fan base. A lot of fan bases like that are pretty loyal, I think, especially in the disc golf community. So that's definitely something I'm trying to build on. I think it's very important. For me specifically, I think a lot of people, I just need to find what works for me and what people like about my form or my throw, who I am on is related to disc golf, and just try to market myself in that way. But it's hard. It's definitely, it's like a second job for sure.
Yeah. Do you think participating in like this year, you obviously had some success with like the Go Throw Tour. You won the Go Throw Tour championship at the brewing company there. Do you think that kind of stuff helps? Because I definitely saw you on coverage with them a decent bit, which I think helped populate your name. Obviously, everyone heard about the fact that you're the RPM king when it comes to disc spins. So does that kind of thing help? Is that are you trying to look for more opportunities to participate in those kind of other events as well going forward? Like, did you have like a positive experience and you want to do that again?
Yeah. I definitely looking forward to a lot of those events. And a lot of it, just to be honest, is the dollar bills. I think they paid out really well for what they were. I thought they were pretty well run. And the tour fit with the Go Throw Tour, or the Go Throw Tour fit with the Pro Tour events, whatever. And it just worked out with my schedule. And if I don't care if it's sanctioned or unsanctioned, if it pays better than what an A tier or B tier would that weekend, there's no reason for me not to go play. And it's camera time. Like, I specifically ended up going to that event over at A tier because I knew Go Throw has a big base. They film, they have great coverage, and it was a possibility for me to do that. So that was a huge part of it.
Yuli, did you have a question? Sorry, I don't want to cut you off.
Go ahead.
Oh, what is it about disc golf that is enticing you to kind of do the grind? What got you into because like it's very, very grindy out there on tour. It's not for everyone. So what is it that keeps you coming back day after day?
Being competitive. I want to be the best. I think I have the ability to keep climbing the charts and be up there with the best in the future. And I think that's the grind. And I think there's a market for it. I started at a young age too, and I just all the way through high school I put in a lot of hours, missed a lot of things to do it, to try to get better at it. And at a certain point, like even after my first year on tour, it was hard. But then I looked back on it and I was just like, I've already put in so much time and so much effort, and I'm this close to it. So why would I stop now? And I kind of still feel that way. I feel like I'm so close to being so good and doing so good on the tour and making all my personal goals, hitting all those, that why would I stop when I'm right there? And I'm sure it's going to continue to feel that way.
Yeah. Go ahead, Yuli.
What about the burnout? Have you felt any burnout? And what does that feel like, and how do you get past that? Because I feel like that's the big disease on tour with a lot of people and a lot of people who come out here, and especially for people who don't have sponsorships that are paying very a lot, and then having a 5-year plan, I think helps because you really can't give up until the 5 years is up. But what about during the season when it's like, damn, this kind of sucks, I want to be home?
Yeah, it's hard. Yeah, it's really hard. I think for me, I've just learned to manage it, because the first year it hit me really bad. Last year, I normally don't go to Europe, so I'm able to do half the tour, come home, reset, and then go back out. This year, I ended up going to Europe, and it was a struggle because at one point I had played 12 weeks in a row, which is a lot of disc golf, especially by the time you do practice rounds, you're playing every single day. But I've kind of learned to just enjoy it. The practice rounds, I don't go quite as hard in practice rounds anymore as I used to. So I just take my time and try to go quality of rep over quantity. So I think that helps a lot. And then the times that I do get burned out, I just take a couple days off, maybe just have one practice round and then go back.
What would your touring look like How would it change if, we fast forward and all of a sudden you have a sponsorship that's paying you, let's say $10,000 a month is what your sponsorship is. How would that change how you toured?
I would take more time off. I think I would probably do like a 3-week on, a week off schedule, maybe more, maybe 2 weeks off, just enough that I can actually prepare for a specific event and take certain thoughts into it, preparing for that tournament and the next one. And then I can come home, reset, see my family, see my loved ones. There's a lot of times you're on tour for that long. You're on tour for 7 months, 8 months of the year. You miss a lot of birthdays, weddings, anniversaries, stuff that is time you don't get back.
Yeah. Gary, Yuli, you got anything else for Zach?
No, my only question to you is what is the dream win on tour? And take away majors, we all want the world championship, but what's your dream tour stop win?
OTB. I really like that course. I play really well out there for some reason, but I really love the Stockton course.
The course of geese. Very
yeah,
nice.
Everywhere.
Course of geese. I'll leave you with this because I've got to play with you a couple times, and it's been very enjoyable. I think you have definitely some of the best form, backhand and forehand. I think you got a great attitude, and I wish you all the best. I'll say this because I think you do have a good head on your shoulders too, as far as you're saying, hey, I'm going to give myself some time to see I put all this work. The worst thing you could possibly do is leave something and have the what ifs. That is the worst thing possible, is like 5 years go by, 10 years go by, and you start saying, what if? And I leave you with that because I think you got the goods. I think you can definitely, like you said, you're right there on the edge. And I look forward to seeing kind of what you can do in this next upcoming season and break through into potentially getting a win or competing for one. So I wish you all the best in that. And I appreciate you jumping on the pod tonight, brother.
Yeah, thanks, man. I appreciate that.
If you have any other sponsorships or shout outs that you want to do too, you've got the floor right now to do that. Yeah,
I appreciate it. Shout out Legit Disc Golf and Meridian Discs, Birdie Productions as well. Those are my 3 big sponsors. They've done a lot for me. Also, I'm selling a lot of Zach Nash hats. If you want one, you can hit me up on Instagram, Zach_Nash1, and I can get you one.
Perfect. Awesome. Well, we appreciate you jumping on, man, and good luck in this.
Hey, you got to ask him the question, bro.
Oh, yeah. Sorry. Oh, my gosh.
Questions.
The most important question, pet peeves. Okay. So this is your time to basically let us know what your biggest pet peeves are in disc golf. And that can be on the course, during a tournament, during a practice round, off the course. It can be anything disc golf related, something that just gets under your skin and you wish it just didn't exist.
Oof. Sometimes, okay.
Yeah, careful though.
Yeah. What gets under my skin that probably shouldn't on tour is when there's a clear, like a spotter gives you a clear out and all 3 people just say, yeah, that's the spot. And then the said person just keeps arguing it back and forth. Like we all 3 didn't just clearly say that's probably where you should take it.
Especially when they're fighting for like that 5 or 10 feet and you're just like,
yeah, or you're in 40th place, like you're not even cashing. I don't know what's in there.
There's a couple. I firmly believe there's a couple people on tour that it doesn't matter. They will always just argue that it's the wrong. Like it doesn't matter. They want to be able to say like, no, I'm taking it here. That's a good one. Yuli, you got your question?
Out of all the people on tour, what skill set do you look at what they have of individual, could be anybody, and you go, man, that's nice, man. I wish I had that.
I feel like Sully's forehand.
Oof.
Yeah, I feel like if I had that, it would just.
Yeah.
He's so good at it.
Yeah, he does an interesting like drop down too. Like he kind of drops down into it. But man, it works freaking good for him. Gary, not to put you on the spot, do you have a question?
The funny thing is I thought about that. That's why I asked my question about what is the next event you're looking the most for.
Okay,
the dream
so you
win.
start us off. That's a good
That's
one.
right. That's mine.
We'll use that moving forward. That is a good one. All right, well, Zach, that's all we have. We appreciate you hopping on, man, and hopefully we'll get you on the podcast next year after your first big win.
Awesome, sweet. Thanks, guys.
All right, take it easy, brother. There you have it, guys. Zachary Nash coming back, nasty. I mean, he kind of underplayed that a little bit. Crazy comeback win.
8 strokes.
And against Joel Freeman. It's not like some scrub.
Well, he won GBO this year, I think.
Yeah, he did.
From 8 back of like a lot of good players.
So we're slamming Zachary Nash whenever he's 8 shots back of the leader.
Yeah, well, and you can't ignore the
One of
whole
those
going
guys.
from 100 to 60-someths to 38th. I mean, that's a pretty solid 3-year trajectory.
Yeah, 15th next year.
Yeah,
Cutting it in half every. I wouldn't
Absolutely.
doubt him being a top 20 guy next year because he has all of it: speed on the putt, sidearm that goes forever, backhand goes forever, and I really like the way that he thinks through things. Like he's very well spoken, even on the pod about his plans, and he's methodical about his business, and that's good.
So head over, make sure you guys go follow him on Instagram, go support him. And if you want to grab one of his hats, like he said, you can go drop him a little DM over on Instagram. He'll get that sent out to you. So Jomez announced their series finale. This is going to be at Cactus Rock. We're going to get to see another course designed by Paul McBeast and Dylan Cease. This is both of their property, I believe, out there. Or it might be just Dylan's. I'm not entirely sure. But any thoughts on this as the JomezPro series finale?
Cool. Pretty cool.
Yeah. Not
I
too
like
bad.
I like seeing another big event go to like a private course where, it's going to be easier to make changes and really keep it pro level. So,
I mean, I like being the first stop over there in Florida, and I think that McBeast did a great job with that design. And I guess sure is not the greatest answer for me to do. So, so with their reputation of having that other event, I'm sure it's going to be similar and good over there in Alabama. And I look forward to it. Hopefully I can get out there and play it.
Yeah, I've only played I shouldn't say only. I've played at several now Paul McBeast design courses, and all of them are really good. Surprisingly, the only one that I didn't like was his home course that he built in the backyard of his old place. Goliath, not a fun course. Not a fun course. A lot of walking up hills and down hills. But other than that, all the other courses, a lot of fun. All right, we've got Gary wants to do some way too early predictions, Yuli, for 2026. Okay. So Paul McBeast had a quote that made Gary think about this. Paul McBeast says, "I'm ecstatic to enter the offseason healthy and driven to get better in all aspects of my game and life." So we might be seeing a little McBeast coming back in 2026. I mean, he probably is going to win Comeback Player of the Year. If he doesn't, he should.
Yep.
What other early predictions do we have for 2026?
Yeah, so I wanted everyone to give like the one super early prediction. We can look back on this moment and relish when we're either correct or incorrect.
Let me think about that for a second. That's a good one.
That's
a really good one.
I'm going with we are going to have a first-time winner at Worlds for MPO and FPO.
Oh, I like that.
Wow.
Yep.
I'm going to go hyper specific. I think that Niklas Antala takes down USDGC in 2026. I think it's his year.
Okay.
I'm trying to think of these people and who.
Well, it doesn't necessarily have to be people. You could dark horse say something else. You can say like a tournament's going to get canceled.
I like the people though.
That'd be a hot take.
I got a hot take. I think Andrew Marweed takes down his first tournament next year.
Marweed. I like that.
Yeah, I think so. He's
Wake,
just trend.
well,
He's just
Waco's
trending
not on
in.
there. A little Idlewild, maybe.
I don't know.
Yep. He
Yeah.
does well at Idlewild usually.
He always does well at Idlewild. Always does well. All right, we're gonna try something new this week. Are we doing what game are we doing? Which one?
I got the over under full ready to go.
Okay, so we're gonna go over. We calling it over under or higher or lower? Which one sounds better?
Yeah, you can call it either one you want. You just got to win.
Okay,
It's Brody versus Yuli.
Currently don't have a name for it. It's either over under or higher or lower. You guys let us know in the comments which one you like better. Gary, go ahead and explain what this is.
Real simple. I'm going to give you something. I'm just going to add, based on the 2025 season, I'm going to ask you if the real number is higher or lower than the number that I give you. And you tell me whether you think it finished higher or lower or up, and we'll go back and forth with who guesses first. And we're going to see who wins. There's 9 of them. So, an odd number amount. I'm gonna skip to one of them first because we kind of looked at this earlier and I didn't expect us to do this. So I'm gonna do this one first, which is the number of players. And this is all gonna be MPO for this time, just to make this very simple.
Okay.
The number of players who made more than $50,000 in tour event winnings this year, and the over or under number is 8. So we'll have.
Dang it! I should have been paying attention to that.
Freaking just looked at it.
I know, but I wasn't like counting. I was like soft counting.
All right. Well, let me think real quick.
Who wants to go first? We'll have Brody go first since you looked at the list, and I'm going to put the most pressure on you. So when I give you the number, it's not going to be the number. It'll never be the number I give you. It's always going to be
under. I'm going under.
Under.
I think it might be 7. Come with me, Yuli.
Well, you had mentioned that AB was like 60,000.
Yeah.
And I gotta say under as well. I'm gonna go with under.
Correct answer is under, and that is 7, which you were right there, Brody. That's Gannonburg, Calvin Heinberg, Isaac Robinson, Paul Macbeth, AB, Niklas, and Ricky. The next one is the number of players who had a C1X putting percentage of better than 90% for the season. Is that over or under 5? So, Yuli, you get to go first on this one.
Were you in there, Yuli?
So what is it? It's who had better than that? It's under 5.
Number of players who had
under
C1X putting percentage of better than 90%.
Were you in there, Yuli?
Yeah. You at least know there's one of us.
Well, I know Marweed. He's in there. Marweed, Yuli.
Yeah, I think.
What's the
4.
number?
I think
What's the number?
4.
5. Is it over or under 5?
6 people?
Well, here's the thing that's weird because you can have people who play like a couple tournaments and then they.
That is true. They just pop off. I gotta go under 2. I think 6 is too many.
Correct answer is under. It is 4. So it's Andrew Marweed,
Matt Bell,
Yuli, Matt Bell, and
Paul
Gannon.
Grant? Oh, Gannon.
Gannon. Okay.
Gannon. Yep.
All right.
Next up, the score relative to par for hole 12 at Northwood Black in this year's Ledgestone Open. Was it over or under 0.90 strokes over par?
Under. I don't think it was a full stroke this year. Which 9? That's close. No, I don't think it was. I think it played easier this year.
I think it might just be a little over. I'm gonna go like 9.2 or 0.92.
Correct answer is over. It is 0.96 as the second hardest hole on tour this year.
Wow. Second hardest hole. All right.
Second hardest. Next up, the DGPT standings finishing position of Garrett Gerthy. Over or under 75th place. Brody, this is yours first.
He's either in 60 or 80. I'm going to go. I think he's in the 80s. I'm going 80s. Over.
All right, Yuli.
77.
Is that under?
So you're saying over as well.
Yeah.
Correct answer is over. He finished 84th.
Okay.
84th. Brody's
Well,
up by
I
one.
shouldn't
right
really
now.
be cheering for that, but I'm cheering that I got it right. Sorry, Garrett, if you're out there
Yeah.
listening, brother.
The total number of birdies carded on the A position of hole 17 at this year's USDGC, that is the harder position off to the left. Is it
Played it.
over or under 25 birdies?
Okay, they played it. They played it twice. One day it wasn't a full field because you already had the cut. 25 birdies.
Oh, no, I'm looking at a different question. I'm sorry. Over or under 28 birdies.
You go first.
$28 for the whole weekend.
For just the A pin position. So
It's only two
rounds.
rounds. And
Yep.
one of the
So
rounds
we're looking
is
at
like,
14 people birdie in a round.
Yeah, one of the rounds
That's got to
though,
be under, dude.
I don't know, 14 sounds so much, especially when you have like only like 40 people or something play the final day. I'm taking the under as well. People are laying that up the final day. They're just happy they're on the island. They're not even running the putt.
So the correct answer is under, and it's 25.
Okay.
25. All right, we have 4 more to go. Brody is up by 1. The number of players finishing in double digits under par at the Cascade Challenge this year,
Oh gosh, I have
which
no
was a very
idea.
tough event and it was rainy and terrible. Is that over or under 15 players?
I want to say it was 6, so I'm going to go under. I don't think 6 is right at all, but I'm going under 15.
Under.
Correct answer is 12, so under is correct. All right, the number of OB strokes taken by the field on hole 18 at Sprinkle Valley during the Open at Austin.
Oh,
Is it over or under 190 OB strokes?
Brody's up.
give me the over. I don't know. That seems insane.
I have to take the under because I have to try to catch him. Under.
Correct answer is over. It's
Oh,
194. And it was the hardest hole on tour at 1.18 strokes over par.
I mean, were there people that like averaged like 3 OB shots on that hole?
It was bad. And
Yeah.
that's just the MPO side. I would have needed a calculator for the
don't do
FPO side.
FPO. Don't do FPO.
You need it for the MPO. 190 is crazy.
know,
194.
right?
That's so many OB shots.
All right. The number 8, the birdie percentage of Gannon Burr for the 2025 season. Was it over or under 50%?
Over. Easiest over in my life.
You know what? I think it was under.
No, come on. It was
Well,
like
no.
52,
I think so,
54.
maybe because AB was like at 50. He was the highest at 50, at 52%, I think, which is probably close. Damn. I'll say that. I'll take.
Well,
the
wait, is this
opposite.
counting in the Disc Golf Pro Tour Championship? Because he did not play well there.
No, I believe these stats typically only go through like the actual like Pro Tour's main season, so through
perfect.
the playoffs.
Oh, I love that for me.
Yeah, so I'll say you said 50, I'll say under.
It is over at 53.98%.
Screw.
All right, and the last question.
Okay.
The
This one's worth 5.
The number of Tour Life episodes in this season that were over 3 hours long.
Oh,
Is
my
it
gosh.
over or under 5?
Under.
Okay. I mean, we're getting close to like 45 episodes. So Yuli thinks it's less than 1 out of every 9 episodes over 3 hours. I think it's over.
You think it's over?
I think so.
Correct answer is under. It's 4 times this
episodes.
season.
All right, let's try to think of which ones they were.
I have that written down. So
Okay. Paul McBeast interview.
No.
I got no clue.
All right, yeah, tell me.
It was the Supreme Flight Open recap. So like the first
of this
event
season.
recap. It was the Music City Open recap.
The
So-
heck were we talking about on that one?
Yep. So that was that was Silva.
Oh,
that was
the girl who
Silva-
walked off the tee too.
Yep, girl walked up
Yeah,
the tee. Yep,
yeah.
that was the call-in episode. Crazy. The third one was the foot fault heard around the world,
Oh, the Kristen
Champs
Lott
Cup.
foot fault. Yeah.
and then the Worlds recap.
Oh, okay,
Worlds.
makes sense.
Okay.
Yeah.
There you go.
All right, makes sense.
There you go. The winner of the first ever over/under is Brody.
The real winner here, though, Yuli got a little shout out on the Disc Golf Pro Tour. He is now the #1. I don't even know what this what the like technical term of this stat is, but Yuli, I'm just gonna say you have beaten the most unique players out of anyone in the PDGA at 6,694. The
Jeez.
question I have for the chat is, are you one of these people?
The odds say you have to be.
Hand up, I'm one of those people. Yuli has beaten me. Let us know in the chat if you have lost to Yuli at a tournament before, because he's getting close to 7,000. Second place was LaCastro at 6,310, so well over 300 more for you, Yuli. And then Greg Barsby at 6,214 there.
Mm.
Are we gonna
that
are
just
we gonna
means
see
I
you at
played,
7,000?
For a long time? Yeah,
I think we're gonna
I'll-
see you get 7.
I'll get to 10.
Dude, 10 would be
There we
crazy.
go.
You beat 10,000 unique people.
Yeah, I'll get to 10.
You need to just do like a dark horse like world tour.
You start traveling
You-
the country.
Yeah,
just
you play
knocking
a
people
couple
out.
events in Japan. You can knock off like 100 people right there.
Right. Yeah. No,
Go
it's
down to New Zealand.
Mhm.
it's always a funny statistic. It just means that I've traveled a ton. I played,
Yeah.
Yeah.
50 plus tournaments. A lot of people have played like 60, 70 tournaments a year, but they're doing it kind of locally. I always played like 40, 45, and I was always touring around everywhere. So
Yeah.
I got to go all over the place and play a lot of people. But it's a fun. They post
That's a
that
cool
stat every
stat.
now and
Yeah.
and then, and the last time it was in the 5,000. So I've beat a few extra people since
Yeah. The
then.
question is, are you getting better or the people around you getting worse? We don't know.
Probably both. Hopefully,
Yeah, a little mixture.
yeah.
Best part was the comments of people being like, "He hasn't beaten me yet," or "I volunteer as tribute to help him get to 7,000," or "I survived this stat." That's another great one.
Yeah. Or the people being like, "This is the dumbest stat I've ever seen." I got an argument with some guy on Instagram, a nice friendly argument, to where it got hilarious. But yeah, it's always nice to get into the comments with some people.
All right, we're gonna skip on to the listener questions here to finish out the show tonight. Appreciate everyone live in the chat. We've
Hit
got
us.
Shay Stevens, longtime listener. Shay Stevens wants to know, if you are Cole Redolin, do you stay with DGA and be the big fish in the small pond, or do you try to move to Discraft?
Mm.
If I'm cool,
If you are Cole Redolin, do you stay with this DGA and be the big fish in the small pond, or do you try and move to Discraft?
I would, if it was me, I would just go wherever who's giving me the most money at this point.
Yeah. And Discraft
Well,
works.
what if-
he does get to throw? I don't want to overstep.
Yeah.
He gets to throw some of his DGA favorites there. So
Yep.
Well, what if it is one of those situations where like the ceiling at Discraft is obviously way higher than the ceiling at
Yeah.
DGA. So what if it was the money was offered a little bit less at Discraft? Is it better to make that jump and get in and maybe build yourself up?
I mean, yeah,
it's not the same. It's not the
a
same
good
company.
question.
Discraft Junkies.
Yeah, it's a good question. A lot of individual based stuff. I mean, with small companies though, DGA's pretty solid company. Obviously, they're one of the companies who are offering pretty good sponsorships to touring players.
They got that basket money.
some of the best
Exactly.
mid-ranges in the game.
And so I think I think they have more wiggle room to work around contracts, if that makes sense, to where if you're a really good player, you can figure out ways to make your contract even better. And then eventually, I mean, he's already the best player on the team. He won for him. I would think and I would hope they would offer him something really nice. And if you're playing good, there's no reason to leave, right?
Yeah, if they offer you something that you can't refuse, I would agree with you there. Papa Jones, he's got a question for you, Yuli. He says, how does Yuli feel about the Steelers next year for the quarterback position? Do we ride with Will Howard? Do we try to get Rodgers back for one more, or do we reach for someone in the draft?
We're cooked. We're always cooked. We're like just good enough to get a horrible draft pick, and we're just going to be stagnant forever. Luckily, I ain't looking forward to next year. I'm in this year, and we just had a great win against the Colts.
Oh, don't get started on that.
No, we did. We had a great – the defense finally showed up. Rodgers is slinging the ball. The pigskin is flying. We're scoring more than 15 points a game for the first time in like 3 years. If we could just figure out how to get that defense, which we pay a lot of money for, to do what they're supposed to do, we're a contender. Rodgers is probably going to get sacked and explode, though. I'm going to be honest with you. That's the way I mean, Jaden Daniels just went down. So like Rodgers, he gets sacked one time. I feel like he'll explode.
Oh, he'll crumble.
Yeah.
We got Scott WB. He says, okay, I'll ask for the 10th time. What do manufacturers do with signature series discs when players move to another brand? I feel like we've answered this question a couple times, so I'll respond by answering this for the not 10th time, but maybe the second or third time. They pretty much, I believe, just break it back down into plastic. So there's machines that you can run it through and get it back into its little cubes, which then can melt down, and then you just make it into new discs. So
you can do that, and and they can do a misprint and just stamp a bunch of stuff and send it out there too.
Send it out and have it a little cheap misprint disc.
Yep.
They get put in the boxes with the merch from the non-Super Bowl winners, and that's what they go.
Yep.
Yep.
Johnny Riggs. I love sand bunkers in golf since they look a little out of place in green fields. Any ideas for unique hazards in disc golf we don't really use? Also, I think it'd be cool if hazard shots in disc golf were standstill only, similar to how you can't touch the sand with your club. Thoughts?
I'm fine with it. Yeah. I mean, those ideas have been kind of traveling around, and I think we've done that. I think we've done that before at certain tournaments back in the day, where
it'd be fun to try it now
up in the thing.
Yeah. I think certain courses definitely could use that to where it makes the driving even more imperative to hit fairways, because you're going to be losing a lot of distance on your next shot. All right, final one from Disc Golf Guru. He wants to know, why hasn't 4 unique winners of majors in MPO and FPO not been talked about more? Beginning of the season, folks were predicting Kristen and Gannon possibly sweeping the majors. They went 1 for 7 combined.
I hope this is a trend, and I think it just shows that people are better than people think. I think the field's getting better. In both, obviously. I mean, Silva, if we're going to be honest, Silva kind of came out of nowhere over the last few seasons. She kind of came on the scene, and then now she's at the top, and she's kind of coming out of nowhere.
A lot easier to do that in FPO than MPO.
Sure. Yeah, no, absolutely.
Like, but you got to climb a lot more people in MPO, but yes.
Yeah. And then who won this year on the it was Gannon,
Calvin,
AB, Calvin,
and who are we missing? Champions Cup?
Isaac.
You can do it. It's Isaac.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, you think about it, right? They're going into next season. The list of people that we think could win a major, I mean, it's more
big.
than 10. It's more than 10 people. It might be getting
Yep.
close to 15 people,
Yep,
right?
Yeah.
Obviously, Gannon's going to be the favorite unless something really drastically changes. But
I think Presnell kind of blew the cap off with that one.
yeah,
You know, that's a deep down the list. If he can do it, you know, a lot of people have a chance to do it on a course like Northwoods Black, and anything can kind of happen. So, yeah,
and we've seen at USDGC now. We've seen several guys get really close to winning their first major at that one. So that
Clemens came really close.
So that might be another one in the future.
Johnny
of
McRae
getting someone getting their first one down there,
especially with the traveling, right? You there's positions where you never know who's going to pop off at what course because it just matches what they're looking to do.
Yep. All right. Did we miss anything, guys? Anything else?
Match play this week here in town.
Yep.
Oh gosh!
At a return to the Hornets' Nest.
That's right. Yeah,
Love
AB flying in. I'm picking him up on Thursday. Taking him to the presser.
Is hole one still? Are they still doing the same layout? Like hole one is the normal hole one?
Yeah.
Dude, hole one is scary.
Tough.
What the heck?
Yeah.
Hole 2 is one of the prettiest holes ever.
Yeah, and the OB's gotten a little tighter on there, so it's going to be. I'm looking forward to it. I'm, pardon me. I'm caddying for AB this week. So.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, I got to play it one time. I think I played it when I was up in that area for the Tour Championship a couple of years ago.
Yep. And
I was like, I gotta see what the scuttlebutt is about this course. And I'll say this, it's a really, really fun course. I don't think it's a tour level course in the sense of the amenities and all that jazz. I think some of the holes are gonna be really tough to spectate. But as far as like broadcasting goes, I think it's gonna film well.
And I don't expect a ton of spectators.
I don't either.
It's a small field, and so I think it kind of makes sense. And it is a fantastic match play course.
Yeah,
yes,
that's why I like.
I just played. I filmed with Ezra on Wednesday or what was it, Friday. And so actually they just got posted. I should have mentioned that.
I'm watching that after this.
Yeah, go check those out because we did a front 9 back 9 of a match play. Get him ready for the tournament.
Yeah, a lot of holes that you can make decisions of how aggressive you want to play based off of where your competitor is. So
what do you think the percent chance is that the winner of the match play championship comes from the Gannon AB matchup?
Gannon AB matchup. What do you mean? Are they in the same?
They're matched together to open the event.
Oh goodness.
Yeah.
Jeez.
That's our first match.
That's it's so a lot of people are saying that the winner is going to be coming from that match.
How many matches are there?
Not too many. I think there's eight. There's 4 total matches across each MPO and FPO.
Okay, so it's like quarter semis finals is basically what they're doing. Are they do they reseed?
I think you have a chance to I'm gonna pull up the thing.
Yeah, there's a post where it shows where you.
How is Gannon and AB playing in the quarters?
Because when they set up the original groupings, they were together because they tried to when they made the player groups originally, they tried to make them really, really juicy. So you had like the Macbeth Ricky group, which by the way, no Paul or Ricky in match play is like wild. But so you have here you go. So you have Gannon versus Calvin. My apologies, it got shuffled.
That's still.
Gannon versus Calvin, Matteo versus Ezra Robinson, Niklas versus Ezra Aderhold, and then Dickerson versus AB. The winners move on to Saturday, and then you've got the defeated players moving down into their own bracket. So yeah, it's
gosh, you have consolation brackets.
So it's quarters, semis, and the champion. Yep, there's a third.
I like that better than them just being done and getting the same amount.
There's even a consolation bracket.
There's even a 7th place consolation match.
Yuli, I hated consolation brackets.
Yeah.
It was the worst.
A good one to watch is going to be Missy versus Silva. That's the opening match play for FPO. That'll be a fun one.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll see how it's filmed. This is we kind of touched on this a little bit last episode of how important filming, production, all that goes into it. I think with match play, there's not a lot of not a lot of action happening. I think it's going to be big time on the production side to make it interesting for the viewers. So it'll be interesting to see. We don't want to see the same
predictions. Who do you think is the best match play player? You know who I'm gonna. I obviously I got to go with AB, but if I were to, I'm leaving him out of it. He's my pick for the winner, but Calvin's
tough.
I'm gonna go Silva.
Tough.
I'm gonna go Silva and Niklas.
I go Missy.
Yeah, I think honestly in the format, Matteo is kind of sneaky if you're like going like dark horse style, just because it's match play. You never know what can happen, but Calvin feels like the scary player there.
I'm gonna go on the limb. I'm gonna go out on the limb. Constellation matches are the worst, no matter what sport, what event we're talking about.
Agreed. Yeah.
Whether you're playing in them or watching
for you, but maybe
no,
the
for
people there.
I think you're wrong. I think if you're like, I'm excited for this constellation match, I think you're wrong. I think
something to watch.
No, the only one that matters is the only thing that matters is Olympics, and you're playing for a bronze medal. That's it. That's the only consolation that matters.
Do you like loser brackets that feed back into the winner to like
double elimination brackets?
Yeah,
I like that because
okay,
you know, it's something that we've all talked about. We all know that if we lose once, we're not out of it. I'm okay with that. But playing in a bracket for 7th place, come on, who do you think you are? All right, thanks for watching, guys. We'll see you next week.
See ya.